Hi y'all. Today you're in our kitchen. This is our kitchen. And it's cabbage harvest time, which means Dave wants to make sauerkraut because Dave likes sauerkraut. So Dave is going to show me how he makes sauerkraut because I'm not that good at it. Did I say sauerkraut too many times?
Sauerkraut video.
It's a sauerkraut video. Stay tuned. So Dave pointed out that in the intro, I said I'm not that good at making sauerkraut, but it's because I don't like it that much. Dave does, so he's a sauerkraut maker. But I'm gonna hang out because apparently there can't be a camera running without me being in front of it. So I apologize if my audio is not the best. Dave is gonna get the mic because he's gonna be the one doing most of the things, and I'm gonna be like Jean Pepin to your Julia Childs.
Either that or you spin that around.
Oh, because I'm the girl. Okay, so take it away, David. I've got my camera, by the way, in case we need to do close-ups.
All right, today we're going to see if we can get about 10 pounds of cabbage into our 5-liter crock. And this is a fermentation crock
Say
that
that word.
Gartoff. This is a fermentation crock that Becky's mom gifted us, and we have been very lucky to have that because it has come in very handy for such projects. So he will make an appearance very shortly. But we got about 5 or 6 heads of cabbage, and I've already, let's see, I don't know if that's in camera, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already peeled off some the ugly outer layers and given it a quick rinse, and we're gonna go ahead and start not dicing it, it's not shredding it. What's a long cut?
Shredding.
Shredding? Okay, we're gonna start shredding it everywhere.
It's everywhere. Do you keep the core?
I do not keep the core. That is what I'm getting ready to cut out of these. I quarter it and makes it easier for me to get down to the core and get those out. And then just slice it into long, slender pieces. And then we'll weigh it in our big mixing bowl. When I get that full, we'll weigh it, figure out how much we have, and then do our calculations for our salt and our caraway.
Watching at home. One of the things for which I am immensely grateful to David, one of the things for which, yeah, I said that right. David keeps our knives very sharp here at the Lloyd's Den. And it is so nice. Dave can.
But that's not recorded.
That is recorded.
Oh, it is recorded.
That was recorded
Okay.
the whole time.
Oh, I bet you turned it off.
I turned it on.
All right, so what I forgot to do, I missed a step. I forgot to tare my bowl, and so that I don't add that into my calculations for salt and caraway. And I'm glad I did, because we took a guess and we were way off on how much this bowl weighs. That bowl weighs 2.5 pounds. So now that we have tared this, we can start adding cabbage back to it and make a terrible mess in the process. And I don't think it's all going to fit back in there.
Magic cabbage. And this scale, I can link it down below, is just, it's a relatively inexpensive scale. We use it a lot when we're fermenting, because a lot of the
There's a lot of calculating.
there's a lot of calculating. And I shouldn't say a lot, like not a scary amount. But the amount of salt you use to create your brines for all sorts of things is always based on weight, not by volume.
All right, so I have got off camera, I have some paper so I can make some notes and figure out what I need for this process. And we've got 3.4, we'll just round it up to 3.5 pounds of cabbage right there. That is, I need 2 teaspoons of salt per pound and 1 teaspoon of caraway per pound. 6.
7 teaspoons of salt.
Okay.
Why does this batch of sauerkraut taste so good, David? Because Becky sat here and breathed on it for half an hour. It's the secret ingredient.
And this year, we're going to try, this is not Himalayan, what is this? Just sea salt. Ancient sea salt.
For everyday use.
And we can put a link to this.
The important thing about the salt, though, really what you're looking for is you do not want iodized salt. The iodine
You just want some kind of natural.
Right. Can make your brine cloudy. And that's true no matter what kind of ferment we're doing. Typically, we use kosher salt.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't have anything in it. It's pure sodium chloride. This does have some other things in it.
Oh, it does.
Not added, though.
Oh, just it's got other natural stuff.
It's
in
got
it.
other
Okay.
naturally occurring. It's unrefined mineral salt. So
Do you need a picture of that?
it'll be interesting. Oh, Becky can.
And maybe this will work out, maybe it won't.
That'd be terrible.
We'll find out in 2 months. I'm
David.
already on that. All right, so we figured up 7.
Becky can. Ooh, I can go cinematic.
2. 3. Let's see if we can do this. Get in here and mix this as best we can in our max capacity bowl. And then we're going to transfer it to our Gartoff. Sounds like something from the Coneheads. And then we're going to start to mash it. And this will with that salt in there and starting to tamp it down, will make enough juice to enough brine to cover everything, and that's exactly what you're looking for. You need a Becky cam on this.
No, I do need a Becky cam on this. Because y'all probably can't see over there. And how many pounds do you think you're going to get in there?
Well, I was, according to the manufacturer, you should be able to get 10 pounds of cabbage in here. And we're pushing not quite the halfway mark. Now, it will reduce in size a lot. All right, do you need a Becky cam on this?
Yes. See, this is
All
what
right.
David's doing this.
So what is this called? This came with your mason jar.
Called a pickle packer.
A pickle packer. Okay, I thought they had another name as well. Becky cam.
I'm watching the things.
You're gonna watch the things a lot during the editing process.
That's true. Oh.
Probably shouldn't have put it all in.
You want to time lapse this bit? How long do you usually do this for?
Till I get it flat and it starts creating juices.
All right,
So-
time lapse.
Yep. So when we get to one of our final stages, we need to cover everything with a layer of cabbage leaves. And since I pulled off the nasty stuff, we're going to go ahead and get some nice big ones. Hopefully they'll hold together well enough that we can use them as a cover. Do you have to do that with peppers?
No, but I use those glass weights.
Well, this will use weights, but this is to keep the little bits from floating
It's
up.
big enough that.
Okay. Yeah, since we've diced up the cabbage or shredded it, this is to help keep it from floating up. Because you will get some mold in here while it's sitting for 2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
Is that how long it sits, David?
What's wrong with you? That did not work out at all.
Try again.
Here, I'll cut the bottom off of it. Let's see if I can peel it from that.
It's riveting content. Will he get the cabbage leaf off in one piece? Becky can.
I don't think I am. I have to use a whole bunch of shredded pieces. Nope, that's not going to work.
Oh.
All right, what we're going to do, we're going to resort back to our scrap pile and just rinse off some of these. All right. Well, I think we have we've put everything in there that we can. Might be able to fit a little bit more, but I'm getting tired. I'm actually starting to break a sweat from working on this. And next we're going to put in our layer of leaves to help hold everything down, and then put the weights on top of that, and then assess it and see if we need to make up any extra brine to cover everything. Do you need to get pictures of this? All right. So these are our weights to hold everything down and keep it below the level of the brine. Pound and a half each. So you got 3 pounds in there holding everything down.
Doesn't look like you need to add any more brine.
I don't think so, because it's going to probably make some more itself.
And ideally, you want it to be a juice from the cabbage and not to have to make up any more brine, right?
Right. I mean, you can certainly make one up, but this is going to be better.
And these are super fresh cabbages, which is probably why it was relatively easy to get enough brine just from the salt and mashing.
So this ended up being 8 pounds of cabbage that we got mashed down in there. So the yield on that might be maybe 10 pints. Maybe.
And how many heads was that you had before?
5, I think, because we brought home 6, didn't we? 5 or 6 heads. Well, we had like 12 pounds of cabbage to begin with, and we ended up putting 8 in this. We're going to let that sit for a few minutes and make sure, see if we get some more brine, and then we're going to put the lid on it. We're going to clean it up, and then clean up where I deposited some salt and some caraway around the edges. We'll clean that up and then put the lid on it and put our water seal on.
And we'll show you how he does that. Oh, while we're giving that a second to sit, I'll show you guys. We have tried before we got this at an auction. Actually, my mom got it at an auction and gifted it to us. There are 2 other fermenting systems that we have used for sauerkraut, and we actually continue to use still for our hot sauces, because peppers are the other things that we really like to ferment to make hot sauce as gifts, etc. One of the systems that we have used is called mason tops. Not sponsored, but they're these little silicone lids that essentially allow gas to escape through these little tiny slits in the top of the lids, and are pretty effective at keeping stuff out while it's not actively outgassing. And it simply sits on top of a mason jar, hence the name mason tops, and is held in place with a ring. I can link below the starter kit that I got, and we still use these actually for fermenting peppers. But that's great, especially for beginners. They're inexpensive. The starter kit actually came with the pickle packer, which obviously we still use, and glass weights, so that you don't have big stone weights like the ones that came with these little glass weights. They're in the box. Glass weights that hold your stuff.
A wide mouth jar, right?
They're for a wide mouth jar, yes. But I actually prefer now little airlocks that you can also get to fit mason jars, and there's a lid that screws on. I will show all this to you guys. I imagine if you're interested, I'll do a video when it comes time to ferment peppers, because it shouldn't be too much longer before we start harvesting peppers. A little while.
A little bit.
But these airlocks actually work much the same way as this big airlock in the Gartopf, which is essentially, this is filled up with water, and then this sits down on top, and that water creates, it's called a water seal. Gas that is under pressure can be forced up and out of the water, and it'll bubble up just like it'll do in here. But oxygen and other impurities that you don't want in your ferment can't get in. And so that's how this guy works. It's basically a big giant water airlock. All right, you think this is ready?
I'd say probably.
Becky Cam.
Yeah, I think it said you wanted roughly 8 millimeters of brine over top of your weights. So I imagine it's still going to make some more. I don't know if that's quite 8 millimeters, but we should be in good shape, I think.
And now,
We don't have any food product showing through.
and that's what we might not have been very clear. We might have. The big cabbage leaves hold the little bits under the brine, because you will get mold growth on stuff that is exposed to the air. So those little bits, if they float up and are exposed on the surface, they're gonna mold.
You'll see some floating mold in there, and it's fine.
It is okay. And every year we ferment, I still Google what is okay. Because
Usually,
it can be scary.
White and pink are usually okay. I think you want to stay away from black.
And if it's a little fuzzy, it's probably okay, but I shouldn't even say all that. I still Google it. There are loads of resources online that can help you troubleshoot your ferment as it goes. Where are we going to keep this, David?
We will set it under the bench in the kitchen. But yeah, add to the water seal roughly every day or every other day. But you want to keep it in a dark place in the mid 70s, and it will be very happy and sit there and bubble and ferment and do its thing.
Which is the other advantage of the Gartopf over the mason jars. This excludes light.
Yeah.
No matter where he's sitting. Although it is a relatively dark place.
You need Becky Cam of this?
I think, if you putting the lid on?
And filling the water up.
Yeah, I'll get a Becky Cam to fill the water up. Becky Cam. It's time for Becky Cam.
Yep, that should be good for now.
I will full disclosure, we actually don't grow cabbage on the Lloydstead. This is from Oakhart Farm, the farm where I work, because I am not good at keeping the cabbage loopers off of our brassicas here. So I have decided not to grow cabbage because the farmer there, Shauna, grows lots. Grows lots. And a benefit of working there is having access to this glorious, very fresh cabbage. I think they harvested this. Today is a Monday. They harvested this on Thursday.
Okay.
The freshest cabbage you can find is good for kraut. So yeah, we do want to bring you guys more of how we use the harvest. So let us know if this was interesting, if you enjoyed it, if you have any questions for David. Dave points out that one of the things about fermentation is there's lots of different ways to do it. There are lots of variables, is one way to put it. Lots of variables. And those variables can have a relatively big impact on your final product. And so we have gotten better at least recognizing that it's important to write down what your process was for this particular ferment.
Yeah, if you really loved this batch, you want to know what you did. If you really hated this batch and you don't want to ever do that again, yeah, you need to know what you did. Maybe I don't want to use that salt. Maybe I want to go back to kosher salt.
And it's a good place to record things like this is what might have gone wrong, or what went well, or and like how long you fermented. There's so many variables.
Yes. You put the start date, the end date.
Exactly. Okay, I'm done rambling. We appreciate you guys being here. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself, and we'll see you guys again on the Lloyd's Den. Bye. Like and subscribe.